7 ways Putin can capitalize on the Israel-Hamas war. 1. The conflict dilutes the Western focus on Ukraine. Benjamin Netanyahu used to call Vladimir Putin his dear friend. The Israeli Prime Minister has visited Russia often, but it took Putin 9 days after the Hamas attacks to give Netanyahu a call. Russia hasn't strongly criticized the militants. The Kremlin did call for a ceasefire and blamed the crisis on America. There's no proof that Russia directly helped Hamas, but Russia does benefit from the situation. First and foremost, Hamas diverts attention from the Ukraine war. Joe Biden has committed to aiding both Israel and Ukraine, but lawmakers are already seeking to cut aid to Kiev. 2. Oil and gas prices are expected to soar. Oil prices rose 4% after the attack on Israel. Prices have since stabilized, but there's been a 1% increase. Higher crude prices boost Moscow's reserves. Russia is an economically isolated country. As a result, it heavily relies on oil export revenue. This supports defense spending. In 2024, a spike in oil can fund Putin's war in Ukraine. 3. The conflict has disrupted America's Middle East plans. Hamas has deferred an Israel-Saudi peace deal. The U.S. had invested much time and effort in it. China refrains from condemning Hamas for similar reasons. Both Moscow and Beijing want to see U.S. authority challenged. 4. Russia exploits the Israel-Hamas war for propaganda. Russian propagandists have begun comparing Ukraine to Israel. They have also introduced a new narrative. Russia's war in Ukraine is more benign than Israel's war in Gaza. Russian bots on social media endorse Hamas. They accuse Ukraine of supporting fascists. Israel. 5. Russia might flex its diplomatic muscles. Russia has normal relations with Israel in the Middle East. The Kremlin can mediate the ongoing conflict. It has already started taking steps in this direction. Russia has collaborated with Lebanon to prevent conflict spillage. The Kremlin has engaged in talks with Iraq, with Mohammed Shia al-Sudani visiting Moscow. Russia has also discussed a ceasefire with Egypt. This shows that Russia isn't isolated in the Middle East. Putin sees this war as a chance to reaffirm global influence. 6. Russia positions itself in contrast to the U.S. Anti-American sentiments grow in Muslim-majority nations. Arabs and Muslims often blame the U.S. for the conflict. Russia can capitalize on Washington's isolation on this matter. It aims to attract the global South as a U.S. alternative. 7. Russia generally benefits from global chaos. The global order is disintegrating. This is very convenient for the Kremlin. More chaos makes it easier for Russia to promote its agenda. The Russian leadership is not interested in peace. At the same time, it is worried about the spillover. If Hezbollah and Israel go to war, Hezbollah forces may leave Syria for Lebanon. This could weaken the Assad government. Russia might need to provide more support to the Damascus regime. Moscow doesn't want this extra burden right now. Besides, Russia maintains ties with Israel and Iran. A direct Israeli-Iranian confrontation might strain its relations with both.